Hello everyone and welcome to the introduction event for the App Development SIG. Thank you so much for taking the time out to be here. Let's get started. For the people who have joined us for the very first time or do not know what we're exactly about, let's take a quick look. What do we do here? At ACM ASEB, we conduct mainly three kinds of events. These are the general events, the talks and seminars, and the SIGs. General events can range from anything like normal quizzes or certain competitions and even live code alongs. And talks and seminars are events where we bring in people from outside to talk about something that we feel would be useful for our audience. And finally, the SIGs. SIGs are special interest groups, and this is something that we'll be talking about just a couple of slides later on, so you can get a full idea. And later on, we'll specifically dive in to what the App Development SIG is all about. And at ACM-W ASEB, we help celebrate, inform, and support women in computing by promoting the technical growth of women by organizing conferences, seminars, and workshops. What events have we conducted? This is a quick timeline of all the events we've held so far. We started off with our intro event that threw light on the working of both the clubs and our role as a student chapter here at Amrita Bangalore. Then we had Dominion over Domains, where we had one of our alumni speakers look into different technical domains out there, along with technologies used in each one and the possible job opportunities. Our third event was Learn, Code, and Repeat, an event that focused solely on the useful coding resources from online course platforms all the way to coding practice platforms that could help students get started on their coding journey. Then we had Git, Set, Commit, and Pull, which is an event focused only on Git that went through the concepts of what a version control system is, GitHub, and some basic Git commands and a hands-on session. Then we had Hour of Code, which is a practical session focusing on the basics of tkinter, and we also built a currency converter in two ways. One was done with an API and without an API to show the people the difference and let them appreciate the power of APIs. Finally, and last but not least, we had open source talks where we had two speakers, experienced speakers, talk about their experience applying for famous open source programs such as Google Summer of Code and MLH. They talked about their experience, how it was to get in, and the benefits they reaped from participating. We also talked a little about open source contributions, what it exactly is, and how anyone can get started. Now that we looked at what we've done so far, let's get into the actual topic of the event, SIGs. SIGs, or special interest groups, are a place where like-minded people get together to indulge in intellectual discussions about a domain of their choice. We have primarily three SIGs that we'll be hosting. One is web development, app development, and data science. The introduction event for web development took place yesterday. We'll have the recording out soon, and we'll be sending the link across all the groups. So if you missed that, please be sure to check it out. And tomorrow we have the introduction event for data science at the same time, 5:30 p.m. So what are the SIGs about? Well, these SIGs, all of them focus on a structured roadmap starting from the ground up and going all the way to intermediate concepts in whatever field that SIG focuses on. Along the way, you get to work on many projects that really help solidify your theoretical learning and make sure you have skills that you can use in the real world. You'll also get badges and certificates for your accomplishments officially signed by our mentor. So this can add value to your resume along with the projects which you can upload to GitHub as well. And finally, you can join our mentor-mentee program, the details of which we'll be publishing soon, along with the form so you can fill up and decide which role you want to take up. At the SIGs, your ideas are appreciated, not your ability to memorize. And we expect the projects to be done on your own and not copied off the internet. You have complete ownership of how you learn, what you learn, and when you learn. It's self-paced, and we try not to rush anything, so you can learn at your own pace and really take in the concepts we're putting forward. And lastly, but definitely not the least, nobody will judge your mistakes. We all make mistakes so we can learn from them. And that's the ideology, the kind of environment we wish to inculcate at the SIGs. Couple of questions you may have. How many SIGs can you join? You can join all three. However, there will be quite a bit of work in each one. You'll have to keep up with the lesson, the whatever we're putting out, the content, the material, maybe some projects and a couple of assignments in the sessions itself. So our recommendation would be to stick to one. However, if you feel you're up to the task, you can join as many. How long will the SIGs run? It's still tentative, but approximately till the end of June. And how often will they occur? Each domain will have sessions weekly. The exact dates of this will be announced later on. So keep an eye out for that as well. Now that we've talked about all three, but it might seem like a lot conquering all three domains, but climbing a mountain starts with a single step. So over to Pranav now for a more in-depth view and look at the App Development SIG.
Thank you, Sunil. Yeah, let me just share my screen. I hope you guys can see my screen.
Yes, Pranav.
Thank you. All right, okay. So first of all, I'd like to thank the team back at ACM ACB for giving me this opportunity, to be the mentor for this SIG. And I'd like to welcome all of you to the App Development SIG. Really hope we can keep this interesting. Today's session is going to be a very short session. It's going to be an introduction session into the world of app development, into give you guys an introduction about who I am and what products I've built, and then we can go on with and explore other stuff in the app development space from the next session onwards, right? So coming to the first question, right? What is the app development SIG? So in short, it's basically a setting where people interested in the app development space can meet after college hours, and we can all indulge in discussions and experimentations that are there in this domain. We can try out and build out projects. And the most core or biggest idea is that we can all bring out our own app ideas to life, right? So let's imagine that you have a to-do app that you'd like to make. It's for your own house. You'd like to help your mother create a to-do list and she can just tick things off. Well, this is the right place. You can start learning stuff from here, and then you can build it for your mother, you can build it for your grandparents, you can even build one for your friends and yourself. Now the second thing is we're here to understand and experiment with the tools that are required to build that are required to build the mobile application, right? So coming to what app development is and stuff like that, I think a very easy way of telling you guys what app development is all the apps that you find in your mobile phones are basically called as, it's basically the second layer or the web 2.0 in a way, right? The web 1.0 was the early websites that we found that basically were created using normal JavaScript and stuff like that. Then came web 2.0 with a bit much what do you say, evolution in the JavaScript domain and stuff like that. Then came apps along with the web 2.0 and stuff. So apps are basically applications that are found in your Android phones or in your iOS app phones and stuff like that. Now coming to what do we do here? Now it's very easy. We're just going to do three things here. One is we're going to teach you guys, and our aim is to build a very structured curriculum to help you guys with the foundations. Now I've seen many times with my friends and even with myself, right? I've I'll think of learning something and then I don't have a proper syllabus or a curriculum for it, and then I end up giving it up. A very good example was Adobe XD for me, right? It is a software that helps people create user interfaces and user experience designs and stuff like that. I started it off and I didn't have a proper curriculum because I didn't have a proper structure for it, and then I ended up dropping it, and I still don't know Adobe XD. Now, the second most important thing that we are here to do is mentor, right? You can be a mentor, you can learn from the mentor. That's the two important philosophy that we have here. That is, we are here to promote a culture of mentorship in short. The third thing is to ideate projects, right? So we encourage hands-on projects that are basically things that you've learned. And at the end of the day, all of us have to be career ready. And that's one of our biggest aims here. Coming to who I am, why am I being a mentor here, and how can I help you guys build and learn stuff here? So my name is Pranav Radhesh. Once again, hello to everybody. Currently, I'm an intern at WeWork. I'm a product management intern at WeWork. My day-to-day job role or skill is to help other people in my team, basically the designers, the coders, the marketing people, and everybody envision the product and try to create roadmaps, PRDs, and try to pivot the product back at WeWork. Now, it all started for me in my second year, right? App development actually paved a beautiful path for me, in short. So in my second year, we really wanted to build stuff. A friend and I, he'll be taking I think the next coming up sessions for you guys. So I'll keep his introductions for himself. He'll do it better than I can. So it all started during that time that I really wanted to create something in the app development space, and I was really looking out for an idea to build, right? So when you're learning something, the most important philosophy is just don't learn from a course. Try to build something on your own, and then you will get the most benefit out of whatever you're trying to learn, right? So the first idea was to create a product that I wanted to use daily. So that's where Xdrop came to the picture, right? So at that time, I really wanted to transfer whatever pictures or files or documents that were there in my phone. I wanted to transfer it to my desktop or my Windows laptop. And I was very fascinated with what happened in the MacBook or in the Apple ecosystem. The whole idea behind the Apple ecosystem is that you get to have a sort of connection between devices that you can't have in any other ecosystem or any other space. Now, just imagine that you have an Android phone and a Windows laptop that has HP's logo on top of it. If you have to send something, right now there are millions of other products. We have WhatsApp Web and stuff like that. At that time, I think WhatsApp Web wasn't popular. Maybe that's why I created something like this. So at the end of the day, I really wanted to transfer files and links and other stuff to my Windows laptop, and we started creating something like this. Currently, we have so this is basically the website. I just wanted to run through what we do here. So we just wanted to transfer files between all our devices at a close proximity range. That's basically in your room, you can transfer stuff. So we are not trying to accomplish what we transferred it or Google Drive is trying to do. We're not a storage application. We're just trying to have bridge the gap between offline file transfer, right? That's what we're trying to do, and we're trying to do at a faster speed than your conventional Bluetooth and other stuff like that. Currently, we have around 100,000 downloads, and we have around 50,000 MAUs, or basically monthly active users. Now, after that, we got millions of other clients and other stuff like that. And we started building products for other people. So it definitely started to create a beautiful path for me. I started to earn a lot. I started to earn a sum that you can't even call it a pocket money, right? Because once you get into a skill like this, you start developing contacts and start developing networks and start developing a lot of things, and you understand the development philosophy and stuff like that. So the next product that we built was an app called as Lifeline by ACM. It's currently out there in beta, I guess. So it's basically an emergency app. In short, you can call it as an Uber for emergency services. It's out on 3 cities back in Kerala. That's where I'm from. So at the end of the day, if you or anybody faces an emergency, They can just click on the red button here, and immediately the nearest Aster partnered clinic or Aster partnered hospital will send an ambulance right to your doorsteps. So this was the idea. It's currently out on Play Store. Let's see how it turns out, and let's see how people receive an application like this. It's very ambitious for us right now. So yeah, so that's how we started going into this space, right? Now there are many other products that I've built and other hackathons that my team and I started venturing into, and we've really found out that there is a huge space in the market, right? There's a huge actually gap in the market, and a lot of people right now, especially in the tier 2 cities or tier 3 cities, they're just trying to go into the internet now. It's that period where they are trying to change from conventional branding and marketing, that's basically like creating offline things like billboards and other stuff like that, trying to have what do you say, a space in the internet. So to do that, they're trying to transition to their own app. So every restaurant you see in my hometown, they're trying to create their own applications or web apps for themselves, so that they can an example of this would be a lot of restaurants in my hometown try to transition to a menu system, that is the one without a menu, a physical menu card. They wanted to create a sort of application where you scan the QR codes and then you can see all the menu in your device, right? So slowly everybody is trying to transition. Hospitals, just like the one we got, which is a Lifeline, they're trying to get into the health tech space by trying to create a product like this. Other vegetable sellers, restaurants, they're trying to have sort of space in the internet. So it's a beautiful landscape, or it's a beautiful space out there. So it's definitely worth venturing into. Now this is the big question, right? What's the toolkit to build apps? There are several toolkits out there. Actually, maybe hundreds of toolkits to build apps out there. But the three most popular ones, or the ones that are rising right now, is React Native, Android Native, or whatever, iOS development in short, and the third one is Flutter. React Native was conceived by Facebook because they wanted to create a framework for themselves. So it has a React for web and React Native for cross-platform devices. So a very key thing that all of us should understand here is what is cross-platform. Cross-platform basically means that you can have the same application in all the other devices. The difference or the problem with something like Android native or iOS development is that you need to have a team for Android development and iOS development. So imagine a company like, let's say, Alibaba, right? They're trying to create a new e-commerce application out there. They need to hire five software developers or app developers to create an app for the Android place, that is Android ecosystem or the Play Store, and they need to hire 5 other developers for something like the iOS store or the App Store in short. So it's at the end of the day, you have 10 developers working for a product that they like to release, right? Now the problem with this, with increase in developers, you need to have increase in cost, and increase in cost and increase in number of things to release for a certain product will increase the timeline. So in short, it's going to increase a lot of things, and it's going to increase the money, the economic expenditure for a company. So I think this was the problem that was there in the market, and companies like Google and Facebook started jumping into those problem, and they started to create their own frameworks or libraries to counter something like this. So that's where React Native was conceived, and to create the same space or the same experience, Google also started creating something, and that's how Flutter was conceived. And Flutter is what we are going to focus on in this session, or in the coming few sessions, or basically sessions taken over by me or my the speakers that I know. So Flutter is our aim, right? So that's what I wanted to highlight here. Now, why do we need this skill, or why do we need the app development skill, right? So as I was saying, it created a beautiful path for me in terms of making myself independent, and also gave me the ability, which is the most important thing, ability to build projects on whenever I felt like, right? So if I had an idea, I just want to help somebody out, I can just whip up a small to-do list app, or a small application, a gallery app and stuff like that. So it's definitely an ability, or it's definitely a skill worth having, is what I want to highlight here. Now, a very good understanding is that the demand for developers are always going to increase every year. So coding is one of those skills that will never go out in demand in the next 20 to 30 years, because everybody's trying to turn to the online mode instead of the offline mode, and everybody needs a product or an application out there that they can depend on. And all major tech startups, it's something that I've realized going over hundreds of LinkedIn posts and hundreds of websites like Angel List and stuff like that, InstaHire and stuff like that. It's that a lot of tech startups really need a Flutter or a React Native developer here, because Flutter, one, because as I said, it's very easy to learn. It's cross-platform, and most developers out there don't know a skill like Flutter, because it's a very niche subject, because it's been conceived, I think, in the last 3 years or 4 years. So it's definitely a worth skill that one can have or one can acquire. And the next big thing is dApps. If you guys don't know what dApps are, they are basically decentralized applications where the backend currently is centralized servers, but in future we're going to have decentralized servers. It's a very, in a nutshell, way of explaining what a dApp is. So that's the next thing in the space, and people are ready to put their money on top of something like this, and it's definitely worth exploring right now. And if you're really good at Flutter, the next step would be to try and create projects that are basically dApps. Coming to what this SIG's focus is, right? So here we're going to have two main focus. One is learning the basics of app development, and learning to build and code along with the mentors or along with the speakers, right? So one thing all of us should understand is when you're trying to learn something, especially app development, most of the stuff will be Google searching, right? You have to be good at searching Google, indexing stuff, and trying to understand Stack Overflow and stuff like that. So that will be one of the most biggest points that we're going to highlight in the coming workshops or coming sessions. And the second thing would be to acquire a skill of a basic skill of design. You don't have to be a great designer, just have to understand how to whip out a small UI for a to-do list app, or a small UI for a flashlight app or a gallery app, something like that, right? So that's one thing that we're going to focus on. And the biggest thing is all the projects that we are going to do here are handpicked by the mentors and handpicked by the team here at the SIG, and we've focused on projects that can help you in your resume, that you can put it in your that you can put in your GitHub repo, which will also increase your job opportunities, because I have a lot of friends who got placed or who are working in big startups like Grow and Zerodha and stuff like that, just because of their GitHub repo and their projects that they've done in the app dev space. And the most important part, all these things can one day end up giving you your first gig or your most highest paid gig, right? So that's what we're going to focus on here. Now, what is the plan? How are we going to structure something like this? So currently, this is a very tentative plan, because I'll tell you why. Currently, the plan is we'll have around 4 months to finish up the whole of the session, or whole of the workshops here. So 4 months, 4 apps and 4 speakers is what we're trying to focus on. Every month we'll have one new app, and we'll finish up that app in that 1 month with one particular speaker. Now, why did I say it is going to be tentative? It's because one, things are about to change. We don't know what's going to come, because every day something new is happening. Two, the speakers, right? I'm trying to bring up really good speakers and people who've built end products, and people who have apps in the Play Store or in the App Store, or people who are SaaS developers, right? And I'm trying to bring them into this space, and helping you guys teach and trying to be a mentor for you guys. But everything is going to change, because even they might have other plans and stuff like that. So let's have 4 months, 4 apps, 4 speakers right now. So it's just saying that it can be tentative based on the speakers availability. Now, coming to the opportunities at the SIG, right? So our whole idea is to give you an in-depth understanding of the various factors that are needed to build an application. And we're also here to get you the help and get you the resources to work on your first app idea, or any product that you're trying to vision in the app dev space, right? And the most important part is you're going to get mentored by the seniors, and we can all have a great bond, discuss up things, And basically, at the end of the day, we can build a team and help each other out and help conceive ideas that are there in our heads. Coming to an important point that I'd like you guys to have in your mind is that whenever we have the session, the core idea of the session would be to earn points, right? It's, of course, it's about learning the skill and stuff like that, but another very core idea is to earn points, right? Because earning points is a way of gamifying this whole experience. So when you earn points, we're gonna have surprises for you guys. We'll reveal all those surprises in the future. So for every project that you either get or build, we're gonna give you points. For every developer or for every student out there that builds an extra feature, for example, if I say the first month we're gonna create a restaurant app, currently that's in the pipeline, a restaurant card app, something like Zomato Pro, and if you bring an extra feature and if you're able to develop it and put it out in your GitHub, well, extra points for you, brownie points for you. And the third thing is, well, we'll have a conventional design that we'll follow, but if you are one of those who would like to ride the neumorphism wave, which is the new design out there, or basically have something like glassmorphism or any other design out there and trying to create the same application with a different design, well, extra points for you or brownie points for you. And at the end of the day, one of the most important thing that all of us should have in mind is that we'd like to collaborate with one of you who's going to do the best here, or who's going to create the best application, or who's going to really have that passion for app development. So it will be a big chance for us to collaborate with one of you. Now, coming to a bonus topic. So I've been talking a lot about the dApp space because that's what I've been reading a lot right now. So that's why it's still sticking in my head. So there are a lot of interesting projects that are happening out there in the Web3 space, and I'd love to ride that wave. So it's definitely a dangerous thing to do right now because one, both the mentors, that is me and the other speakers out there, I don't think that we have the fundamentals of working with Solana or Ethereum, but we definitely like to learn it along with you guys. So we might have a project, it might be our third or fourth project, where we'll be developing something like that along with you guys. So you guys can see the entire process of how we are trying to learn a particular theoretical concept and how we're trying to create a physical product along with that theoretical product. So I really wanted to highlight this and create this as a bonus topic because it's definitely going to be mind-blowing when the speaker does something like this, right? So, and the most important thing here is feel free to ask questions. Even I'm one of those shy people who are not willing to speak up. So that's why we have another plan. Our idea is to keep up polls. So in between the session, to give that active feedback loop for the speaker, we're trying to create polls and trying to get you answer the polls. But if you're one of those people who are ready to ask questions, well and good, because that's exactly what we want. So you can unmute yourself and you can ask your questions. If you have any questions right now, feel free to ask. I'll wait for a second. Okay, I don't think we have any questions because it's just an introductory session right now. So at the end of the day, please don't feel if you're shy to ask questions. If we have a WhatsApp group, you can ask questions there. The mentors and the team here will definitely help you with all the needed requirements and resources that you need. And that's pretty much it. I hope you guys are very excited for the workshops that are coming up, and let's get ourselves ready for the upcoming session. So that's pretty much from my side. The next session would be about setting up a development environment and downloading Flutter and Visual Studio Code and stuff like that. So we'll send you guys a documentation. Please go through the documentation and then we can start off with the session in the upcoming few days. I think the team will get back to you with the tentative date and stuff like that. So that's pretty much it. So I hope you guys understood and are ready for this exciting journey. And yeah, that's pretty much it from my side.